Wow! Ha! Most people don't struggle with drones because flying is hard. They struggle because their drone is too cheap, too chaotic, or straight out of TMU, and never designed to help anyone learn. And the gap between a real beginner drone and a bad one is much bigger than most buyers expect. So today we're ranking 6 beginner drones that actually matter in 2026. So these 6 drones are my personal top 6 beginner picks for 2026. Not based on spec sheets or marketing, based on real flight in forest, mountain trails, fields and tight spaces. All of them are true high-end devices. You get proper GPS positioning, reliable downward ground stabilization, solid flight controllers and camera that record at least 4K 30 frames per second. Some even go up to 4K 120 or 8K depending on the mode. This is not the toy category where GPS drifts 10 meters and the camera shakes like a phone on a stick. These are serious aircrafts you can actually learn to fly with. And since many of you already have flying experience, I'll point out the details that matter most for beginners and the areas where advanced pilots might see things differently. Feel free to add your own results in the comments. The more real-world data we share, the better it is. Alright, enough setup, let's get straight into rank number 6. The DJI Flip is a modern beginner drone with a very different design philosophy compared to the Mini series. The most important feature to new pilots is the full propeller protection. The drone is completely caged, which makes it extremely safe to fly indoors, close to people or in tight spaces. You can bump it, touch it or misjudge a corner and it usually keeps flying. For absolute beginners, that alone reduces stress dramatically. So the fold and go design is simple and compact. The Flip unfolds quickly, fits into small bags and is easy to carry, which makes it a very practical everyday drone. Hand takeoff and hand landing are both possible and work reliably, which is another advantage if you're flying in confined areas. The Flip can be flown with or without a remote controller. With the RC, you get precise control. Without it, you rely on onboard controls and the mode button, which lets you trigger autonomous flight functions directly on the drone. The front display shows the current mode clearly, so beginners always know what the drone is about to do. Video quality is solid for this form factor. You get up to 4K at 60 frames per second or even 4K at 100 frames per second for slow motion. Vertical shooting is possible, but not through a rotating gimbal. It's a crop mode, so resolution drops to 2.7K. Still perfectly usable for social media. Well, flight time is around half an hour in real use depending on wind and flight mode. Tracking works and can follow subjects automatically, but the drone is more sensitive to wind than the Mini series. The full prop guard creates more surface area, so gusts push it around faster. So one important point, the Flip is noticeably loud. The combination of small fast spinning props and the enclosed cage produces a sharp, high-pitched sound that stands out more than the softer tone of other drones. It's not dangerous, but beginners should know it's louder than the Mini line. Well, for sensing, the Flip uses a forward-facing 3D infrared module. It works in darkness and even with reflective surfaces like glass, which is something many vision-based systems struggle with. But it's the only obstacle sensor on the drone. There's no sideways, backward or upward sensing, so beginners still need to be careful with lateral movements. All in all, the DJI Flip is a safe and approachable option for beginners who want indoor capabilities, strong protection and a compact drone they can fly without fear. But compared to the more advanced models in this ranking, it offers the least stability in wind, the least comprehensive sensing system and the noisiest flight tone, which is why it sits at rank number 6. The DJI Mini 3 Pro is still one of the strongest price-to-performance drones on the market even in 2026. Its compact design, quick folding mechanism and low weight makes it extremely easy to carry, which is a big plus for beginners who want something simple and uncomplicated. Flight time is about half an hour in real use, which gives new pilots enough room to practice without constantly worrying about the battery. And unlike ultra-light indoor drones, the Mini 3 Pro is noticeably less sensitive to wind, so it stays stable in open fields, beaches and hillsides. One of its biggest advantages is the true vertical shooting. The gimbal rotates 90 degrees, so you get full resolution 4K vertical video instead of a cropped image. This makes social media footage sharp and cleaner with no quality loss. Image quality itself is pretty strong. You get up to 4K at 60 frames per second and 1080p at 120 frames per second for slow motion with a camera that still holds up well today. The Mini 3 Pro can fly over water and it does surprisingly well. I've shown examples of this in my own flights. The drone stays stable and holds its position without issues, but the system isn't as mature as we have today on the Mini 4 or Mini 5 Pro. It works, but you can see small hesitations or soft drifts when the texture is flat or the light is low. So beginners should fly confidently but not carelessly, especially close to the surface. Tracking works through active track for people and cars. It behaves reliably in open areas, but beginners need to understand its limits. The Mini 3 Pro only has forward and backward visual obstacle sensing. There are no side sensors at all. Sideways movement is completely unprotected, and because the drone has no propeller guards, even a small misjudgment in tight spaces can lead to contact. So, and the transmission system is O3. It's stable in freeside but more sensitive to trees, houses and obstacles than newer systems like O4 or O4 Plus. If something sits between you and the drone, the signal might weaken faster. So despite these limits, the Mini 3 Pro remains an excellent drone. It was the real starting point that led to the success of the Mini 4 Pro and Mini 5 Pro. It's stable, capable, easy to fly and still delivers the best price to performance ratio in this ranking. You just can't buy it officially from DJI anymore, so it's now more of a marketplace model than a current retail option. The HoverAir X1 ProMax is a very different kind of beginner drone. When it's folded, it's roughly the size of a smartphone, which makes it one of the most compact drones you can carry. But its main intention isn't manual flying. This is a self-flying camera first and a pilot's drone second. Manual flight is possible. You get a foldable controller where your phone snaps in and you can use it either as a one-hand or a two-hand controller. It's clever, but stick input feels a bit rough. Not dangerous, just not smooth enough if you want to learn clean manual flying. So if your goal is to master real stick control, this isn't the platform to start with. So where the X1 ProMax shines is automated flights. It can track biking, skiing, hiking and general movements with impressive consistency for such a tiny aircraft. Takeoff from the hand is effortless, landing is just as simple, and the drone feels very approachable even for complete beginners. The frame is fully caged using a lightweight aerodynamic mesh design that bends instead of breaking. You can bump it into branches, door frames or even your jacket and it usually shrugs it off. For beginners, this is a huge safety benefit. It also handles flight over water, snow or bright reflective surfaces without any issue, which is something that tends to confuse many vision-based systems in other compact drones. Well, obstacle sensing is kinda limited. There's a rear-facing sensor that helps during backward flight, but everything else is very basic. You should expect occasional collisions in tight areas, but because the drone is fully caged and surprisingly robust, it's rarely a real problem. The only notable weak point is the battery compartment. The battery sits slightly loose and can pop out during harder impacts. Image quality is one of the biggest surprises. You get up to 8K for high resolution shots and up to 4K at 120 frames per second for slow motion. The footage is crisp and detailed, far better than you'd expect from such a small and lightweight drone. Flight mode selection is handled directly on the drone and a small display on the front shows you exactly which mode you're in. And it also includes 64GB of internal storage, which is very practical when you forget your micro SD card. Flight time is around 50 minutes, which is acceptable for this form factor. Not great, but realistic given how small and light the aircraft is. So overall, the HoverAir X1 ProMax is a solid, fun and highly practical drone. It's perfect for people who want great shots without learning manual flight, and it's very forgiving thanks to the full cage. The price is on the higher side, but you get a compact, robust and uniquely capable platform that works in places where many other drones would struggle. The DJI Mini 4 Pro is the drone where DJI's beginner support really becomes complete. It takes everything the Mini 3 Pro already did well and upgrades it in the areas where beginners benefit the most. The biggest improvement is the full omnidirectional obstacle sensing. You get proper visual sensors in every direction, including the sides. For beginners, this is a massive step up because sideway drifts is one of the most common causes of crashes. So the Mini 4 Pro reads its surrounding far more confidently than older Minis and gives new pilots a much wider safety margin. The camera system also gets a notable upgrade. You get for sure, like in the Mini 3 Pro, true vertical shooting for social media and up to 4K 100 FPS and up to 200 FPS in full HD for super slow motion. The image looks clean, controlled and detailed, and the dedicated night mode delivers surprisingly usable low light footage with reduced noise. Also, the video transmission Move 204, DJI's next-gen system. It's smoother, more stable and far more resistant to obstacles between the drone and controller than the older 03 link used in the Mini 3 Pro. This is especially helpful when flying in forests, behind trees or near buildings. Tracking performance is solid. You get reliable active track for people and cars, well, but not for bicycles, which is worth knowing if you want to do bike tracking content. Still, for walking, running or general outdoor use, the subject tracking is predictable and consistent. And flight time is around 30 minutes, which gives beginners enough room to practice without rushing. The drone stays extremely stable in the air, even in elevated wind, and waypoint flight is supported as well. You can also fly the Mini 4 Pro using the DJI goggles and the motion controller, which opens the door for beginners to try a completely different flying experience, which is, I can tell you, lots of fun. So the drone itself remains very compact thanks to its foldable design. But like all uncaged drones, it needs to avoid collisions because any hard contact can cause damage or fall. Also worth noting, there is no meaningful internal storage, so you must use a micro SD card at all times. On the positive side, flying over water or snow is no problem at all, and the vision system remains confident in these environments. So overall, the Mini 4 Pro is an extremely well-rounded beginner drone. It offers strong safety features, excellent image quality, stable transmission and solid flight time, making it the ideal choice for pilots who want advanced feature without stepping into the higher costs of the Mini 5 Pro. So the DJI Neo 2 is, in my experience, one of the easiest and most forgiving drones a beginner can pick up right now. It's extremely compact, smaller than any Mini series drone, and while it isn't foldable like the HoverAir X1 ProMax, the rigid body actually makes it feel more robust in daily use. You can fly it manually with a controller or completely autonomously. Hand takeoff and hand landing are incredibly simple, which removes a lot of stress for new pilots during their first sessions. And on top of that, the gesture control system is a true beginner feature. You can reposition the drone in height, angle or simply let it land just with a simple hand movement, almost like controlling it with a Jedi gesture. For many beginners, this is one of the most intuitive ways to interact with a drone. And the sensing system is one of the Neo 2's strongest points. You get omnidirectional obstacle detection through visual sensors on the sides, top, bottom and rear. Forward sensing is handled entirely by a LiDAR module, which gives the drone a clean distance reading even in poor lighting or when visual sensors struggle. For slow, low-altitude beginner flying, this combination is extremely effective and provides a very high sense of safety. The tracking performance is impressive for such a small aircraft. The Neo 2 can track biking, skiing, hiking, cars and even motorcycles, and it stays locked on the subject with a calm, predictable behavior. Movements remain smooth rather than twitchy, which is a big advantage for people who are still learning how to position themselves relative to the drone. And then there's the full propeller cage, which is another another huge benefit for beginners. The Neo 2 can bump into branches, posts or door frames without instantly crashing. It is one of the most collision-tolerant drones in this entire ranking, and that alone makes it incredibly beginner-friendly. It also handles flight over water and snow without any issues. You get 49 GB of internal storage, which removes the need for a micro SD card and makes spontaneous flights easier. The drone supports also FPV flying with DJI goggles and the motion controller, giving beginners an optional gateway into FPV world without switching to a dedicated FPV system. Image quality is also pretty strong for the size. You get 4K 60 frames per second and up to 4K 100 frames per second for slow motion, and the footage is clean as long as the light is good. But the 1/2 inch CMOS sensor has limited low light performance, and that's where the Neo 2 shows its physical constraints. There's also no true vertical shooting. Vertical mode works only through a center crop, which reduces the resolution to 2.7K. And flight time sits at around 15 minutes depending on wind and temperature. It's not so long, but it's realistic for a drone this small and this protected. Overall, the Neo 2 is one of the most beginner-friendly drones on the market. It forgives mistakes, it works in tight spaces, it handles autonomous flight incredibly well, and it gives new pilots the confidence to experiment without being afraid of breaking anything. If your goal is to learn flying safely and stress-free, the Neo 2 makes that easier than almost any other drone available today. Here comes rank number 1. The DJI Mini 5 Pro is, in my view, the most complete and most capable beginner drone going into 2026. It's compact, fully foldable and boots up automatically the moment you unfold it, which keeps the entire pre-flight process extremely simple. Transmission jumps to 04+, DJI's strongest link in the Mini series so far. Even with trees, buildings or terrain between the drone and the controller, the signal remains remarkably stable. For beginners, this directly translates into confidence because you spend less time worrying about connection drops. So flight stability is on another level. The Mini 5 Pro holds position like it's glued into the air, even when the wind picks up or the light gets tricky. DJI has completely reworked the stabilization logic, and it shows. The drone reacts smoothly, predictably, and without micro wobble, making stick inputs easy to learn and repeat. For sure, you get full omnidirectional obstacle sensing with visual sensors in every direction. Forward detection is additionally supported by a LiDAR system, which is especially helpful in low light or in situations where visual sensors alone would struggle. For beginners, this combination provides the strongest safety net of any drone on the list. So the camera is built around a 1-inch CMOS sensor, delivering sharp 4K video with excellent detail and dynamic range. Slow motion options are extensive, with 4K up to 120 frames per second and Full HD up to 240 frames per second. Low light performance is excellent for a compact drone thanks to both the sensor size and the refined processing pipeline. Also, the gimbal has been completely redesigned. It's rock solid in normal flight, and for more advanced use, you get for sure true vertical shooting, as well as manual gimbal rotation up to 225 degrees. While that feature isn't essential for beginners, but it becomes extremely powerful once you progress into dynamic action shots or creative style movements. And tracking performance is robust and mature. It supports biking, skiing, motorcycles and cars with stable subject lock and smooth pathing even in moderately complex environments. The digital matte tele mode adds a surprisingly sharp zoom option with less smearing than classical digital crop. The flight time exceeds 30 minutes, which gives beginners plenty of space to practice without constantly battery pressure. Internal storage sits at 42 GB, which is a huge quality of life feature when you forget your micro SD card. There is no propeller cage, so any collision must be avoided. This is a high-performance drone, not a crash-tolerant one. And yes, it's the most expensive drone on this entire list, simply because it's the newest and most advanced Mini DJI has ever released. But if you want the absolute top end for 2026 with the best stabilization, the strongest sensing, the most complete camera system and the longest growth potential, the Mini 5 Pro is the clear number 1. It's the drone beginners grow into, not out of. Now that you've seen the full ranking, here's the simple logic behind. Beginners don't need extreme specs. They need a drone that behaves predictably and removes as many early frustrations as possible. It starts with flight stability. A good beginner drone holds position cleanly, even in ground effect or small gusts. Cheap drones drift, wobble or react late, and that makes learning far harder than it should be. Simplicity is just as important. A clear app, quick setup, reliable auto takeoff and landing, no hidden toggles and no confusing modes. If a drone feels overwhelming, beginners stop flying. Control response matters more than people think. Too slow and beginners overcorrect. Too aggressive and they freeze the sticks. The best beginner drones use a soft, predictable control curve that builds confidence instead of fear. Wind behavior is another big factor. Small drones get pushed offline much faster than new pilots expect. A good beginner drone stays predictable in light to medium wind so that stick work remains the focus, not weather management. Flight time affects learning speed, not dramatically but directly. The more minutes you have in the air to try something, see what happens and try again, the faster you improve. More time equals more learning opportunities. Sensing and tracking help because beginners fly slowly, low and hesitantly. Some drones remain calm and interpret these movements correctly. Others become twitchy or misread sideways drift. And for sure, then there's the camera quality, which also plays a role. Shaky 1080p toy cameras hide important details and make flying harder. That's why every drone in this ranking ships with a real gimbal system, real GPS foundation and high quality video output. And beginners always benefit from safety nets like return to home and find my drone. Every drone here supports both. If something goes wrong, you can get the drone back or locate it after a crash. And finally, this list represents the upper class of beginner drones for 2026. These are not toy quadcopters. Every model here gives you real performance, real safety systems and real learning potential. Cheap drones simply cannot compete with this baseline. If you want the easiest entry, go with the Neo 2. If you want the best long-term investment, pick the Mini 5 Pro. If you want strong safety without going premium, the Mini 4 Pro is ideal. If you want hands-free footage, the HoverAir X1 ProMax is the right tool. If you're on a tight budget, the Mini 3 Pro still delivers solid performance. And if you choose the DJI Flip, you get a modern, fully protected drone. Just fly with a bit more awareness. Your decision depends more on your flying style than on raw specs. And if you already fly one of these drones, share your experience below. The commands often contain more real-world knowledge than most reviews. If you want more real-world drone tests without any marketing noise, subscribe! But now stop watching videos seriously. Take your drone, go outside and fly. Flying yourself will always teach you more than watching others fly. And if you do not own a drone yet, stop hesitating. Pick the one that matches your budget and start learning today. The best pilot is the one who actually flies. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. See you in the next one. Bye bye.